Can police track your location on your cell phone? We're about to find out. I'm outside the U.S. Supreme Court where the justices just heard oral arguments on a very interesting case that happened in the Richmond area. In 2019, a man named Okello Chatri robbed a bank in Chesterfield County. Now, police were having a hard time solving the crime, so they looked to a technique called geofencing. Geofencing is the process of using cellular data to draw a perimeter around a certain area and then using the data to determine who was in that area at what time. Think of it like an electric fence. You're the dog, your cell phone is the collar. Chesterfield police asked Google to give them anonymous user data for the number of cell phone users in the area of the bank at the time of the crime. By reviewing that location data, police were able to track movements that they identified as suspicious. They were then able to ask Google who owned the phone that made the suspicious movements. And the owner of the phone was Chatri. Now, Chatri has since pleaded guilty to robbing the bank and is currently serving a 12-year prison sentence. But the question here isn't necessarily whether he is guilty, it's whether geofencing is compliant with your rights under the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution. Okay, so what does that mean? Under the Fourth Amendment, you are generally protected from warrantless searches and seizures. That means that law enforcement can't just start going through your things trying to prove you committed a crime unless they have probable cause to believe that you did. Chatri's attorneys are saying there's no way there was probable cause. Police didn't even know who he was at the time they started their investigation, let alone the fact that he was near the bank at the time of the crime. Geofencing, they argue, is overbroad. It's an unconstitutional dragnet that sweeps up the innocent along with the potentially guilty. The government's response is really interesting. They're arguing that the police's request to review Google's data isn't a search at all. Okay, how can that be? The government's attorneys pointed out that when Chatri signed up to use Google, he opted into location sharing voluntarily, knowing that Google can, and sometimes will, share location data with law enforcement. They further argued that because Chatri chose to do that, police don't need a warrant to review his location data at all. The Supreme Court has never ruled on this issue, meaning this is a landmark case. Whatever they decide is going to be binding precedent for how geofencing works across the entire country. And that all started in Midlothian, Virginia. And here's some end of video advice. The Supreme Court is currently deciding whether it's lawful for law enforcement to access your Google location history without a warrant. If that's something you're worried about, I would just go into your settings and disable location services and location history.